Hello, everyone. This is your host, Cobra Number One, and you are listening to the Barbershop here on cobrasinaction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network, exposing racism, white supremacy for exactly what it is, so that you and your loved ones can navigate this nasty, stinking, wretched, disgusting system. The purpose of this podcast is to eliminate all confusion in regards to racism and what it is, so that those who are classified as Black are no longer confused. We broadcast weekly, Wednesday and Thursday, from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on cobrasinaction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network. Inform any Black person you think that may be remotely interested in countering racism of what we're doing. Spread the word. We find this show to be necessary because before a problem can be solved, it has to be identified and understood. And too many Black people do not understand racism. Visit us at cobrasinaction.org, a website dedicated to countering racism and replacing it with justice. Because too many Black people remain confused about racism, we created this site. Not only do we articulate precisely what racism is, but we also give specifics on how to counter it. Click on the menu tab and listen to archives of the Barbershop. Read articles on racism and strategies and tactics on how to counter racism. And listen to the radio network, Cobra Radio, the most dangerous radio network in the world. Everything is counter racism. There ain't no Black men killing each other. Our women are respected. And we call white people out, because all of them, every white person, your white wife, your white husband, your white best friend, your white pastor, your white supervisor, all of them, they're all racist. That's right. Your problem is white people. And we don't have any problem reminding the confused Black people, yes, you, of this fact. Make sure you visit the site. Once you're on the site, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and SoundCloud. We're always publishing content to all of our social media sites, articles, videos, and music, so please follow. We need your support. Running the website and radio station is not free and takes a lot of man hours. If you find what we're doing constructive in the least bit, we ask that you donate so that we can keep this effort going. We ask for $5 a month, but obviously whatever you can afford to give is much appreciated. Just click on the menu tab and click donations. Again, the work we put in is equivalent to any 9-to-5 office job, except our aim is not to profit with some product or service, but to help Black people solve our biggest problem, white supremacy. We have 2 new podcasts. The first, Flex Talk, a podcast dedicated to improving the physical, mental, and spiritual health of Black people. You can catch this podcast Sunday from 10 to 12 midnight on Cobra Radio. And the second podcast we have is Urugu, an analysis of white people. I read from the text Urugu, written by Dr. Marimba Anai. She is an academic and she is a specialist on racism, white supremacy, on the subject matter, racism, white supremacy. And she wrote a book well over 20 years ago now on this subject, talking about white people white culture from an African-centered point of view. So she goes into the nuts and bolts of explaining white people, their culture, their behavior, and why they treat you the way that they do. This is a must for anyone looking to understand white people and the system that we are all living in, which is a system of racism, white supremacy. You can catch the show every day from 8 to 9 p.m. on Cobra Radio. So just go to the website www.cobrasinaction.org and click on the menu tab and click on the radio button, and you will hear the show. And also all of the shows that we do are available on demand on the website immediately after we're done broadcasting the live show. Again, you just go to the menu tab and click on podcast and find the show that you're looking for. All right. I will be doing a special Christmas broadcast at 11 o'clock a.m. on December 25th. I'm going to be discussing music and religion and the system of racism, white supremacy, followed by a 1-hour discussion on Facebook. The holiday is no excuse to take off from the work that needs to be done. So I urge you to join me this Christmas, beginning at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This would have been the 11th podcast in the series titled Understanding Racism, White Supremacy. But once again, there are some other things that's going on that I want to talk about. So we're going to put off the Understanding Racism, White Supremacy series for another week. And we're going to substitute that topic for some of the headlines from this week. We're going to be talking about Kanye West, Donald Trump, Trump Tower meeting, WTF. I don't get it. We're going to get into it. Also, Lee Daniels was in the news, and we're going to talk about that movie, Loving, the movie about the interracial couple from the 60s. I have a few points on that I want to speak on. So we're going to be talking about several things today, several interesting topics. At least I hope they're interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get right into it. You are listening to the Barbershop here on cobrasinaction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network. Be back. Before a problem can be solved, it must be understood. And too many black people do not understand racism. Go to www.cobrasinaction.org today and learn more about racism and how we can solve this problem. Welcome back to the show. You are listening to the Barbershop here on cobrasinaction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network. I am your host, Cobra number 1, RG Reed, exposing racism, white supremacy for exactly what it is, so that you and your loved ones can navigate this system. I am speaking on some of the headlines that caught my attention this week. And just right off the rip, Kanye West had a meeting with Donald Trump at Trump Towers like 2 days ago. And he has been receiving a lot of heat on social media, obviously. I mean, you can imagine Kanye West, his fan base, well, at least some of his fan base, really are probably like, WTF, what's going on? Why is he meeting with Donald Trump, the racist Donald Trump, who now is in the middle of appointing some of his racist cabinet members to help fill out the government? So there you go. But anyway, why is this nigga meeting with Donald Trump? And they had the video of Kanye West walking all fast in Trump Tower. I swear it looked like he was walking like he was paranoid, like he was trying to get away, like he was trying to dodge the cops or something like that. I mean, he was really walking like a man on a mission. But unfortunately, like most black people, he doesn't really have a mission because he doesn't know what's going on. He's confused. He is a victim of racism, white supremacy, and he does not understand what needs to be done. He was at Trump Tower. Well, apparently, my understanding is that he was at Trump Tower and he wanted to address the problem of violence in Chicago. That's my understanding as to why he was at Trump Tower. Now, Kanye West received a lot of heat on social media for visiting the racist Donald Trump at Trump Tower. And a lot of people called him names, sellout. I mean, you can imagine what they called him. And my rule on that is that I don't talk about or I don't call other victims names, because we all can be accused of being that term, that Uncle Tom term. You see, I heard that term. Well, I saw that term being thrown around towards Kanye West. And honestly, we all can be labeled Uncle Toms. Why? Because all of us, to a certain extent, perpetuate racism, white supremacy. All of us are supporting the system. And that's all an Uncle Tom really is. Now, there are different degrees to which a black person may support the system. But all of us are supporting the system. So I don't like to do any finger pointing at other black people. So I saw a lot of people on social media really giving Kanye a hard time. And I just shook my head, because victims really shouldn't be, especially out in public, really shouldn't be squabbling, fighting, beefing with other victims, putting themselves on display for white enjoyment, white entertainment. That being said, Kanye West is as confused as ever. He's going to Donald Trump to address violence in Chicago. Well, we know why they are violent in Chicago. Most of these crimes happen in shit-infested neighborhoods. The people that are in these neighborhoods are fat, they are disease ridden, and they are treated like shit. They are lucky to have a job. Many of them do not. I'm speaking about the parents now. Many of them do not have jobs. The ones that are working are making miserable wages. Many of them do not have health care. Many of them do not have access to decent health care. Now, some would chalk up these people as being written off by society. I don't like to use that term because saying that, this group has been written off by society. Well, see, that's all inclusive, because see, there are some white people you can say have been written off by society. That doesn't quite explain what I'm hitting on here about our friends in these shit-infested neighborhoods in Chicago. By the way, these people were placed in these areas. Okay? These people were someone many years ago, they had a little map. They put the map out on a long table, and there were all these white men in the room. And they said, okay, where are we going to put the niggas? And they said, you know what? How about we put them right here on point X? Now, many of you may be saying, oh, well, how can that be? Because, the last time I checked, I used my own money. I decide where I want to live. I bought my own place, or, I'm renting my own space, and no one told me where to live. Well, what are you talking about? I don't understand. See, that's because you don't understand racism, white supremacy. You are confused. But let me just point out to you, yes, you made the final say on where you were living. That is true. No one came up to you and put a gun to your head and said, hey, you're going to live here. And if you don't, I'm going to blow your brains out. No one said that. That's true. However, your options, I'm speaking about your options. What factors are you considering when you are picking your place to live? Okay. And the big factor that we all have to consider is income. This is how they choose. This is how they choose for you, generally speaking, where you will be housed. All right. Some of the niggers make it out, through good luck, through good fortune. Hell, maybe bad fortune, depending on how you look at it. But some of the niggers don't get caught in the trap. And some are able to get out, and they're able to live in the better communities, live in the white communities. But for most black people are living in, from just substandard to real shitty communities. And what I'm saying is that is by design. And what I'm also saying is that they do that in large part by determining how much you make. Now back to Chicago. These people are, so I said that, many years ago, there were some white crackers sitting around a table in some smoke-filled room somewhere, planning and plotting where the niggers would stay. All right, we're going to house them here. Okay. Now, fast forward. The places where black people are staying in Chicago, for the most part, these places are like third world countries. I mean, you don't have grocery stores for like 25 miles. You can't get fresh fruit. You have to go 25, 30 miles out of the way to get decent groceries. The schools are crap. The schools are crappy. Why are the schools crappy? Well, because white women are teaching the children. Do you think that some white woman is really going to be invested in some nappy-headed nigga? Use your common sense. Think about the collective images of black people on television, music, in academia. I'm talking about in literature. How are black people portrayed? How are black people continuously portrayed? And what do we know about people and critical thinking? People do not critically think. Most people, you tell them something a few hundred times and they begin to believe it. And more importantly, what do we know about racism, white supremacy? All white people are racist, meaning that all white people believe in their superiority. All white people are participating in keeping you inferior. So now going back to my statement, white women are teaching black children. Now, what kind of education do you think that black children are getting? What kind of an education you think that the children in Chicago are getting from these white women that are exploiting these black children? They're not teaching them, because if you are receiving an education and your education is not about problem solving, then you are just wasting time. You are just wasting time. White women are wasting black children's time. White women are wasting the parents of black children's time. Teaching is a payday for white women, period. It is a way to, it's one mechanism to keep cash in the hands of white people. In this particular case, white women. Look at the results. Look at the results of the education system. Black people still have not solved their problem. Black people still have not solved the problem of racism, white supremacy. And I don't expect that problem to be solved anytime soon if there aren't any fundamental changes made to how we do education, how black people do education. Not just in this country, but around the globe. And key to that is to stop allowing our children to be educated by our oppressors. It does not make sense. So these children in Chicago, these children are subjected to racist white women when they go into the schools. So many of them drop out because at some point the child realizes, the teen realizes, this is a waste of my time. And I need to make some money. I need to make some money. These people in these neighborhoods are desperate. These people are paid low. They're not paid money. They're not paid a lot of money. Why? Because they're black. They're not paid a lot of money because they're black. So they're living on the margins of existence. They don't have any decent shopping close by. So they're fat. They are feeding their bodies sugar, salt, constantly. And this is bad for the brain, by the way. This is bad for the mind. No vegetables, no fruits, no good fruits, nothing but just sugar water, chips, and dip. Salt infested foods. I'm talking about salt, all types of salt, just salt, loaded up on salt. How the hell are you expected to think efficiently and properly without a proper diet? I'm speaking about these neighborhoods in Chicago that Kanye West spoke with Donald Trump about, asking him to do something about the violence. Now, I guarantee you, Donald Trump is not going to address the problems that I just mentioned going on in these neighborhoods. Why? Because he's white. I'll say it again. Because he's white. Kanye West is confused. He is a victim of racism, white supremacy. Going to Donald Trump is not going to solve your problem. See, to sum up, your problem is white people. You are living in a system of racism, white supremacy. White people are dominating you. They are oppressing you. You see, black people are paid low because white people are practicing racism, white supremacy. You are not valued as a black person, period. And as I've said before, there are limited amounts of resources, and white culture says that it is credible and it is desirable that those who can hoard the most resources for themselves should do so. And since we're living in a world in which all of the systems are reflective of white culture, this is what is going on. And white people have a vested interest in keeping all of the resources for themselves. So you sitting here scraping, struggling, clawing to get by. What kind of environment does this create? It creates a violent, an environment of desperation. And when people are desperate, people become violent. The violence in Chicago is racism, white supremacy. These people are desperate. These people have no hope. These people are lost. These people are living on the margins of existence. These people are hungry. These people are fed up. And these people are pissed. And these people do not have any respect for themselves. Let me be clear. I am not talking about poor people. I'm talking about black people. And now we're going to zoom out because I'm not just talking about Chicago anymore. Black people all around the globe are all of those things I just said. Black people are depressed. Black people are starving. Black people are hungry. Black people are getting punched and kicked in the mouth. Black people are upset. Black people are confined to shitty, undesirable neighborhoods and communities. Black people don't have access to health care. Black people are getting smacked in the mouth. I think I said that one. Black people are being paid slave wages. Black people aren't being hired. Black people are being portrayed like dogs and like animals and like non-humans in the media. Nobody wants to work with black people. Black people are praying to white Jesus. These so-called white churches are not doing anything to help black people. But black people yet are still praying to white Jesus. Black people in that church where that Dylan Storm roof went in and shot 9 people. He ran out of bullets. He had to reload his gun. Instead of bomb rushing this Dylan Storm roof, the reports are saying that they just stayed there and they prayed. Oh, please stop. Please. This is indicative of a people that do not understand racism, white supremacy. They don't give a shit about you crying. Black people are desperate all across the globe. If you want to end violence, Kanye West, victim of racism, white supremacy, then what you will do is you will end racism, white supremacy. Work towards ending racism, white supremacy. That's the only way you're going to end violence in Chicago, hell, anywhere. get rid of desperation. And in order to get rid of desperation, you have to end racism, white supremacy. White people are dominant, and these are their systems: capitalism, healthcare, the healthcare system around the globe, the criminal justice system. These are all systems, the legal systems. These are all systems in 2016 around the globe that were created by white people, influenced heavily by white people, with small exception. I mean, you do have North Korea, and you have countries like Cuba, and you do have China, but pretty much everywhere on the globe, white people's meddling, white people have their paws on every major area of human activity. Okay? This is what you need to understand. Kanye West does not understand. And unfortunately, Kanye West is playing to the hands of racists by going to Trump Tower. He doesn't even realize it, because now Donald Trump looks at Kanye West as an ambassador. Oh, he's an ambassador for his people. You see, he's being sent by his people as a goodwill ambassador. Good nigger. Good nigger. He comes to Trump Tower and he seeks my advice. He wants to be partners. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to increase the number of police officers in these neighborhoods. I'm going to direct that a portion of the budget goes towards better weapons for the police department. We're going to give them tanks. We're going to give them anything they need. All types of military equipment to control and confine these thugs. Translation: now we have the justification that we need to lay the smack down on these niggas. Now you watch and see Donald Trump, black people going to Donald Trump and saying, oh, please, Mr. Trump, please do something about this violence. And his solution is, well, we have to increase the number of police officers. We have to search and frisk. All of it is coming back, folks. Because why? Because white people see you as a threat. And so if there's any hint of the niggers getting out of line, the only way in their minds that they can stop it is by branding us all as criminals and throwing everything at us but the kitchen sink. I'm talking about you're going to have all types of weapons are going to be entering these police departments. I'm thinking about in Ferguson, the little uprising in Ferguson. That wasn't even an uprising. You had each night you had about 400 or 500 people out chilling. Maybe about 15 of them causing trouble each night. But you turn on CNN, you turn on those crackers at MSNBC, and you turn on those crackers at Fox News. What were they doing? They were, how can I say it? They were accentuating. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. They were sensationalizing. They were sensationalizing what was going on, putting black people generally in harm's way. Oh my God, they're rioting and look at these animals. They're tearing up everything. It's like a war zone. One little building burnt down and all of a sudden Baltimore or Ferguson is Little Vietnam. Give me a break. Yes, MSNBC was doing this. They were participating. CNN was participating. These people are not your friends. They exploit you for their own gain. White people exploit black people, period. Hell, white people exploit themselves. It's part of their culture. And you do not understand. See, let me tell you something. What you all need to do is you all need to go and pick up some pro-slavery books. Read about what these crackers were saying when they could say it and get away with it. You see, too many of us are confused about racism because we don't understand refinement. Go to the website, www.cobrasinaction.org. Look up the term refinement. On every show, I speak about refinement. What is refinement? White people are hiding themselves from you. They are lying to you about how they think about you, about how they feel about you. Why? So that they can continue to mistreat you. White people are not in the business of revealing themselves to you. This is something that black people do not understand. White people go to great lengths to fool you so that they can continue practicing racism. You see, the goal of refinement is for white people, is to allow white people to continue their domination for the least cost. The more confused you are, the more likely you are to resist. Making it a cakewalk for white people to continue their mistreatment of you. Okay, so now white people are refined. This is why you are confused. So don't expect white people to reveal to you that they're racist. Don't expect your friend to reveal, oh yes, well, yes, on that occasion I was being a racist. More than likely, that's not going to happen. I don't care how much of a heart-to-heart you try to have with some cracker. They are not going to reveal their cards. So you need to stop it. Now, what I was saying was that since white people are refined, black people are confused. So what you need to do is you need to go and get pro-slavery books. Why? Because there was a time where white people were not as refined. There was a time where white people told you exactly what they thought of black people. And you will do yourself a favor, and all of us, as a matter of fact, to understand white people. I mentioned earlier on about the podcast that I do, Urugu. It's a new podcast on Cobra Radio. However, you don't even have to listen to Urugu. I suggest first, if you don't have any understanding of white people, keep it simple. Go out and get yourself a book written by a pro-slavery individual. And just go to the library and they have classic texts classic texts that were written by pro-slavery advocates. Pick you up a copy. Hell, you can pick up Hitler's Mein Kampf. That tells you a lot about racism, white supremacy. Hitler was a racist. The same idea, it's all the same mindset, folks. Just different degrees of refinement. It's all justification to mistreat you. That's what Kanye West needs to do. If he really wants to help, and I'm sure he does, he needs to go and learn about racism, white supremacy. And black people need to stop just randomly following other black people, especially celebrities. Celebrities do not know anything about racism, white supremacy. So anytime these celebrities speak out on racism, white supremacy, no. That should be a red flag for you to ignore them. Do not follow them. Kanye West does not understand racism, white supremacy. Stop looking for someone to lead you. Here's an idea. How about you lead yourself? How about you yourself understand that your problem is racism, white supremacy? Then you take your ass to the library or to the bookstore and you pick up a few books. You get Urugu by Dr. Marimba Anai. You pick up Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's The ISIS Papers. And then you go to producejustice.com and you pick up Neely Fuller's book, his code guide for victims of racism, white supremacy. That's pretty much all you need to understand racism, white supremacy. You see, but black people had this bad habit of just following whoever the media tells you is the person to follow at the time. I guarantee you now you got some niggas, again, victims of racism, white supremacy, confused as ever, saying stuff like, you know what, man? You know what? I think Kanye got a point. Yeah, that does sound right. Yeah, cause Trump, he about money. Yeah. So if Trump win the White House, then that means the economy gonna get better. Yeah. And you know some of that gonna rub off on niggas too. See, that's how some black people are talking right now. Victims of racism, white supremacy. They don't know nothing. Hell, I don't know nothing. I'm always learning. You have to be in the spirit of learning. Always learn. The universe is your school. You do not need any kind of fancy degree from Harvard to learn. You don't need any kind of fancy degree from Yale to learn. The universe is your school. There's a library that tries to articulate the universe in so many ways, probably within a 2-mile radius of where you live. You need to go. You need to visit right now. And you need to check out those books I'm recommending and quit playing around. So Donald Trump will not solve violence in the black community. There's violence in the black community because there's racism, white supremacy. 24 hours, 7 days a week, worldwide. You see, it's not like, racism is here one day and then it moves over here the next day and then it moves down there the next day. Racism is across the entire planet. I don't care where you go. Racism in China, and when I say racism, I mean white supremacy. There's only one group of people on the planet today that are racist. That's white people, because they are the only ones that believe that they are superior over everybody else and can credibly back it up. Now, there's racism in China. There's racism in China. Racism is in China. Racism is on the Asian continent. Racism is on the South American continent. Racism definitely in Australia. Duh. Ask those indigenous people, the indigenous people of Australia. You don't think they've been affected by racism, white supremacy? Yeah, racism in the hills of North America, racism on the European continent, racism definitely on the African continent. You have a continent of black people with the most resources in the world, and most of it is controlled by crackers. Wake up, racism, white supremacy. Lee Daniels, moving right along, speaking about black people just listening to anybody speak on racism. Lee Daniels, just a little while ago, basically was saying, well, there is no racism. I don't acknowledge it, because if I acknowledge it, then I would not be as successful as I am. I will be an angry black man. He said something to the tune of that. Now he had some type of he was made aware of a black Santa Claus and white people's reaction to a black Santa Claus, and now he's like, oh my God, there is racism. These celebrities are just finicky, especially the black ones. Kanye West is finicky. He's confused. Hell, this man just got his ass out of mental treatment. Why are we taking anything that he suggests seriously? And this is not a knock on Kanye West. It's just that the man isn't well read. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Same thing with Lee Daniels when we're talking about racism, white supremacy, these serious issues. Well, the serious issue. They do a lot of talking. And of course, I mean, they can talk. It's their God-given right to talk. Let me say that again. It's their God-given right to talk. I don't give a shit about the Constitution or what the Constitution says you can do. That Constitution considers you 3/5 of a person. Go figure. But anyway, Kanye West makes comments, and many times his comments are stupid. Lee Daniels, uninformed, another victim of racism, white supremacy. He speaks on white people and race relations, doesn't have a clue as to what he's talking about. Because some nigga playing Santa Claus rubbed white people the wrong way, that gave him the understanding that he needed to realize that he's living in a system of racism, white supremacy. Get the hell out of here. That don't even make no sense. This is just a person who chooses to keep his eyes closed. Now all of a sudden, he was asked, why are he has a new series out. Give me 1 second. Let me look this up. So he has a new series out called The Star. And the lead character is a white woman. And he was asked, he was like, well, why did you choose a white woman to star in the leading role? And he says, because this is my way to heal the country. I'm looking to heal the country. You hear that? So in his mind, again, Lee Daniels, victim of racism, white supremacy, he feels that his contribution to this fight is by using his little platform that crackers have given him. You see, he's not really a big deal. He's still subject to his masters. And they tell him what he can and can't do. He feels that because he's using his little platform to let some cracker be the star of the show, that he's contributing to the fight against racism, white supremacy. And I would imagine in his mind, racism works both ways. So, a black person can be a racist, a white person can be a racist, an Asian can be a racist. He has no understanding of racism. What is he talking about? Healing the country. What does he mean? Healing the country. Black people were brought here as slaves. They ended slavery, but then they started with mass incarceration. And correction, They did not end slavery. They fooled everyone. Well, no, they fooled black people and they tricked us. But if you check the 13th Amendment, as Scotty Reed on the Black Talk Radio Network, owner of Black Talk Radio Network, and his co-host on New Abolitionist Radio, they continuously point out slavery did not end. You see, stop being a nigga. Stop listening to stupid ass rap songs. Stop listening to other niggas call women out their names. Talk about all this crap, how much dope they sold, who they shot up. Stop wasting your time with that poison and learn about racism, white supremacy. This is sickening that I have to sit here and I have to say these things. I have to tell you these things because most of you do not know this. Slavery did not end. Slavery was just refined. You see, you don't see niggas picking cotton anymore. You don't see niggas, out and about on some white person's land, bent over picking cotton while the white man and the white woman and their children are on the patio sipping lemonade, having a good old time. You don't see that no more. So many of you say, oh, well, there aren't any plantations and, I can go party when I want to. I can go shake my ass when I want to. I can go get my religion on when I want to. I'm not a slave. Have a good job. I drive a Mercedes Benz. I'm not a slave. Slavery is ended. You fool. You are a fool. You are a real fool. Slavery has not ended. Check the 13th Amendment. Slavery has just been refined because your slaves are now the individuals in the prison system. These are your slaves. It's the same concept. You report to a plantation. If you're thinking that, oh no, they're criminals. Oh no, many of them are not criminals. Thank you very much. Don't be fooled by that. And it shouldn't take too much explaining to black people on this point because everybody knows of many black people that have been thrown in prison for trumped up charges, for stuff that just doesn't make sense, and just flat out for shit they didn't do. Okay? And this is the game that they're playing. They use trumped up charges. They use the fact that many of us are ignorant to the criminal justice system, that we can't afford representation to represent us when we get caught up in these sticky situations. They use that to their advantage. Fool, wake up. That's the slavery. That's the new slavery. You see, it didn't end. And the 13th Amendment in your Constitution tells you that slavery is not abolished completely. That's the point. There's enough wiggle room in there for white people to continue to dominate people, black people, for their labor. And now it's being done in the prison system. You see, they really wanted to end slavery. They would have said in that constitutional amendment, slavery here in this land of the United States is from this day forward abolished. And that be it. They did not say anything like that. Nothing like that is written. It says slavery is abolished except. And that's the part where you need to get educated up on. What's the exception? Well, I'm telling you, but you still need to go and you need to do this research for yourself because you need to see this. Slavery is not abolished and it applies to felons. Yes. So when you are driving in your trinket in your Mercedes Benz, thinking you some big bad nigga cause some cracker gave you a better job than most blacks, and then as you driving along that beautiful coastline, or as you're driving down I-85, I-285, I-75, I-95, whatever interstate you're driving down in this stinking country, and you see all those niggas out there working in those jumpsuits, looking like slaves, my friend, they ain't looking like slaves. They are slaves. Welcome to Slavery 2016. It's Slavery 5.0. White people are refined. They are in the business of fooling you. Stop being a dumb nigga. Put that bullshit CD down that you're listening to. I guarantee you it's garbage. They ain't talking about nothing. Stop watching Scandal. Stop watching some black woman being treated like a slut for some cracker. Leave that stuff alone. Understand the system in which you're living in. Stop listening to black people that really don't know what they're talking about. And in order to do that, you yourself have to understand some things. So stop looking for a leader. Stop looking for someone to tell you exactly what you need to hear, thinking that you get the right information, everything's gonna line up, the stars are gonna line up, and some mythical figure is gonna come out of the sky, and racism, white supremacy will be ended. And you'll wake up the next morning and white people will love you. This is not going to happen. Racism, white supremacy ends when we understand what it is and we take proactive steps to counter it. All right. So let me wrap up here. That's the end of the show. Thank you all for listening. You have been listening to the Barbershop here on CobrasInAction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network. Make sure you check out the website, www.CobrasInAction.org. Visit us on our social media sites. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you check us out. We're always posting content. Folks, make sure you donate. Make sure you donate. Racism, white supremacy needs to be talked about. It needs to be articulated. And that's what I'm doing. However, this is very time intensive. All of the podcasts, very, 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 very time intensive, and also financially intensive as well. Yes, it costs money. To run the radio network, that costs money. To put up professional sounding podcasts costs money. All right. So if you find that what we're doing here in the least bit is constructive, have some self-respect, help a brother out, donate. Just go to the website, click on the menu tab, click on donate, and send us something. All right. Again, you can catch the Barbershop every Wednesday and Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. here on CobrasInAction.org and the Black Talk Radio Network. Till next time, this is your host, RG Reed, signing out. Peace.